Hey, and welcome back to the 2023 Phoenix Media Day special that we have, joined by Bina Colman with Compassionate Callers here in the Valley. Hi, Bina. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited to have you. You are flat out innovation.
Oh,
Innovation in a bottle.
That. I do appreciate that.
So you have listened, you have heard, you've seen something in the marketplace, and you guys are responding to it. Talk to us, please, about Compassionate Callers and what you're doing.
So I appreciate you saying that. I've been in this field for 10 years, working with the elderly, and I have felt that something was missing, and I'm just hoping Compassion Callers is that piece. What it does is it calls people nationwide. I mean, we're in Phoenix, so I am here, but also nationwide, up to 5 times a day, 7 days a week. And it is to prompt for physical or OT exercises, med and meal reminders. Did your loved one get up for the day? Truthfully, did your loved one get in bed at night? The other thing is it's a proactive way to do fall alerts, right? Because we all know in this industry, in this community, if your loved one has a fall alert and they fall, but they're not wearing it, it does no good.
Yeah.
So we're proactive. I'm calling your loved one up to 5 times a day. And if they don't pick up, I know something's not right. Even with all my emergency protocols, I call back a second time. I'm still like, oh, Miss Johnson did not pick up. That's when I start with my emergency contacts, the adult child, 911, whatever it may be.
Yeah, that is fantastic. So, I mean, it sounds like whether it's just I need an extra hand making those check-ins because maybe I have a job that I teach, or I cannot pop out of this to handle that. Or maybe it's mom and our dad and I are having a really difficult time right now in rapport, and I need somebody else to be doing that.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I feel like sometimes people kind of forget that not everyone has someone that can do this for them. Like you said, it could either be they're busy, they're part of that sandwich generation, right? They're working full time, they're raising their own kids, they're worrying about their elderly loved ones, or they might not have a great relationship. They care and they don't want to see their elderly ones fall off, but they might not want to call them all the time, make sure they did what they're supposed to do.
Or maybe you just struggle for the words or a challenge. I mean, there's some situational. I know many people will get into, especially men dealing with their mom, if mom starts going through big medical challenges, we have an emotional, just kind of like gut check of stuff that makes it difficult for a period.
Yes.
And if there's something to kind of step in at that time so that you don't go without anything, just because we're trying to work through our stuff.
Yes.
I think that's an insanely awesome service that you guys offer.
Thank you. Cool. I appreciate it.
So talk to us when families are calling, is there common questions that you're already starting to hear? Are there things that they normally will ask you guys up front, right, wrong, or indifferent?
Yeah, for sure. Something I get it pretty often is, what if my parent doesn't want a stranger calling? And I have been in home care in this industry in the past, and I always relate it to that by saying it's kind of the same if a caregiver shows up. We just kind of phrase it differently. We may not say this is your caregiver, but this is my friend coming to check on you. And that's how I would do all my calls. Let's say Miss Johnson has a daughter named April. I would just say, hi, Miss Johnson. I'm April's friend, Bina. I'm calling to check up on you. I just kind of want to get to know you better, and let April know what's going on, because I know she's busy today.
Yeah, that is awesome. And maybe even you carry that conversation maybe even both ways. If mom's got something to say back to April, you have that ability to do that, right?
So the family who signs them up can contact me at any time. Conversations are all written down. All reminders that I prompted and said will all be written down as well. So if April wants to check in, April can totally check in and say, oh, how is mom? Was she okay?
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
So if a family member is starting to get ready, when do they know? What are the best use cases? I guess let me start with that.
Yeah.
What are some of the best use cases that you guys have seen so far? Or they would say Compassionate Callers is going to be a good fit for that.
Yes. Okay. So a lot of times it's when people live alone and their loved ones are either that sandwich generation, which I talked about, or they live out of state.
Yeah.
So we're here in Phoenix. There's a lot of elderly people whose family doesn't live here. So that's where we kind of jump in and be that loving support for that person. So that would kind of be one of the good ways, but also it could just be anything. They could even live in a community, and the community is probably short-staffed right now. We're having big issues with that. And I can be that extra call that they may not be getting from a caregiver that's not there.
That's fantastic. So even many families will talk about once they've done placement in senior care, or mom is settled or dad is settled someplace, they were not expecting how much they're still going in and out and still having to be involved in that, because that's really a custodial, which we've talked about. That's really a custodial place of just where they're going to be in that safe.
Yes.
The services that come in, that's still on family to work through those issues, and you can provide that. That surge in military, we might say a surge capacity. Or,
there you go.
You have that kind of that extra set that works. That's wonderful when it comes from that perspective. Talk to me. What are the other types of tasks that compassionate callers can handle?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question, because besides up to the 5 calls a day, 7 days a week, we also do virtual errands. So I always say is I can get anything delivered as long as that person can move it from their front door into their home.
Okay.
Groceries, meals, a meal, delivery service. If the medicine can be delivered, because some medicines can't.
Yep.
I can get those delivered. Depending on the package you choose from me, I send a monthly activity kit, which I just think is a great way to stave off their loneliness, give them something to do, something else to talk about actually with your caller. When a compassion caller calls you have that connection. Maybe it's a large print book, maybe it's a knitting exercise, whatever it may be, you have that to talk about it with each other.
I love that.
Thanks. So that's kind of the other stuff we can do. And then honestly, it kind of just builds confidence. I don't want to say these people, but the elderly, we all got hit with COVID. They're living alone. They're lonely. They are just sad to be alone all the time, and maybe just feel down on themselves. And having someone call up to 5 times a day and chit chat and talk and get to know you is a really good way to boost your confidence.
Yeah.
And know that someone does care and someone is talking to me.
Well, and maybe even just prime the pump for socialization, right? If mom and dad has fallen into that kind of slump of not socializing, this can maybe start pulling them back out of that and reminding them of something to live for, as opposed to just waiting to die.
Yes, as perfectly put. Yes.
And so those that I absolutely love everything about it. Tell us where we want to get more information on you. Where do people find you?
Yeah, so I have a website, compassioncallers.com.
Okay, great.
And then Facebook and Instagram, and then LinkedIn is at Compassionate Callers. And then you can reach me by email and then phone. I'm here. I want to be as responsive as I can, because I know so many people are in need of the service, and I want to make sure everyone is getting the help they can get. Give them some peace of mind.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I really appreciate having you down on the show. Thanks so much.
Being here. Thank you.
Yeah. And that is going to really be a wrap for us today out of the media day here in the Phoenix market. So appreciate everybody joining us, and we'll catch you up again. We're here every quarter in each of the major markets up there, give you a chance to understand really the local flavor and the businesses and these experts that are down in your market. So stay tuned and continue following us. We'll continue being here for you until we get to talk again. Behold and be held.